Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a special bonus reading for the sign of Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Scorpio, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, the information regarding that can be found in the About section of my YouTube page, and I thank you so much in advance. Scorpio, this is a special bonus reading for what your dreams are trying to tell you. And I was telling your fellow water signs that I recently had a dream that was a little upsetting, actually, and when I woke up from the upsetting dream, I then started to see a whole bunch of what I can only interpret as light codes. I have no idea how to translate those things, but I saw these symbols and I thought, you know, maybe people are having just crazy dreams lately and I wanted to do a reading about them. So cards have been pre-shuffled. Let me show you the decks I'm using for your reading today. The Wild Unknown Archetypes for the overall energy. And then for the main spread, I'm going to be using Oracle and Tarot. The Oracle of Mystical Moments and the Tarot of Mystical Moments, both by Katrin Weltstein. So let's get an overall energy for Scorpio, please. Angel, spirits, guides, what messages do you have for Scorpio regarding what their dreams are trying to tell them? Beautiful. Number 30, so that could be relevant to you, or the number 3, it reduces to a 3, which corresponds to the Empress card in the major arcana of the tarot, Taurus energy. The Empress is the power of all 4 queens. She's the regal divine feminine who's very grounded, who's very abundant. She's the master attractor. She's so much confidence and self-love that she literally, through her own vibration, calls things towards her. The card is the One. The One. That's pretty daunting. It seems like, I don't know why it seems so daunting, but it seems daunting. Like you are, you're not asking casual questions in your sleep state. It's almost like wanting to be face to face with spirit itself. And maybe trying to understand that you are spirit. The oneness. I mean, there's a song that's coming to my head, of course, the U2 song. It's called One. One love, one life, one need in the night. Wait. One love, we get together. Wait. I'm so terrible. U2 is my favorite band, but like I'm just blanking on the order of all the lyrics. I'm sure you've heard this song before. It used to play on like the radio all the time, but it's a beautiful song. One love, we get to share it. It leaves you, baby, if you don't care for it. Did I ask too much, more than a lot? I gave you nothing, now it's all I've got. It's a little bit of a heartbreak song, but it's beautiful. I see this though as this portal. It's like this opening within something. It's almost like this is your dream state, and within that state there's yet another layer and a portal opening, and there's just this, it's almost like you can reach through. It's like this, it's almost like I see it like your hand reaching through this like sliver that you're trying to touch what's on the other side. It reminds me of a time that I astral projected. If you've ever astral projected, I mean, you're literally lifting out, like your soul, your spirit is like lifting outside of your body and going to other places. But when you're in those spaces, you're so right there. It's hard to describe if you've never astral projected, but you're just so right there. Wherever you go, you're right there. Wherever you go, there you are. A very Buddhist sentiment. But you can't touch anything. You can't, it's not like you're a ghost, but you can't touch anything. And you want to. You want to reach out. You want to connect. This seems all about connection. So I'm going to pull 3 cards for the base spread from the Oracle, 3 cards from the Tarot deck for the Clarifier. This is just an overall message. Interesting. All these cards, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And these top 3 cards came out in a combination for Cancer and Pisces. So these could be themes running throughout the water signs right now. Water signs are the empaths. They are the intuitives, all in different ways. One more. The synchronicities, though, in all these readings have just been on point. Thank you, Spirit. On point. Okay. Why are they on point? Because I referenced the Empress here, and boom, there you go. That's the end of the reading. So, 6 cards on the table. I'm going to start with Mermaid's Love, number 24, which reduces to a 6. The Lover's card. Gemini energy. Mermaid's Love is an interesting card to me because it talks about the seeming impossibility of something, right? It's not my favorite Disney movie. I'm sorry. It's just not. It's probably one of my least. But The Little Mermaid, right? This impossible love. She's a mermaid under the sea and she falls in love with Prince Eric and he's a human and he has great hair and she combs her hair with a fork. It's awful. Anyway, that whole movie is about impossible love. And do we have to change ourselves in order to? And I think this is interesting because the Lover's card referenced here is also known as the Choice card. And when I said that, it kind of brought me back to this. Does Scorpio have to somehow change themselves in order to? In order to reach, in order to connect, in order to understand. Seems like Scorpio is always having to, let me rephrase. It seems like Scorpio is always having to compromise in order to touch, to reach, to connect. Why? Why is that on Scorpio to have to do that? The outcome of that compromise could be something beautiful, has the potential, and yet there's only so much we can change before we just don't know who we are anymore. When that is in reference to spirit, it's kind of a tricky situation, because this sense, sorry, I'm just trying to put it all together in my head. This sense of oneness that we're trying to achieve with spirit, and we're trying to reach so almost desperately to reach spirit. only to then, through spiritual awakening, do we realize we are spirit, and that we are ourselves spirit's ability to see themselves, right? It's the sense God made man in his own image so that he could see himself reflected back, or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but I feel like it's something like that. But it's the sense, right? The oneness cannot know itself without its other. So it's almost like this is the legion of humanity, of the other. And you're trying to open up that chasm in your dreams, trying to approach the understanding, make that connection. But you're just having to deal with the fact of like, am I going to have to change who I am in order to connect? The star clarifies that so beautifully, right? The star card is Major Arcana, number 17, and it represents Aquarius energy. Wish fulfillment and healing is what the star represents. And yet this, can imagine, might be an exploding star of kinds, of sorts. Could be a sun, I'm not sure. Just think about it broadly, right? That through the process of, in dreams we can do the impossible. It's true. I never do anything cool in my dreams. I mean, things have resulted from dream state, but like, so rarely do I get to do cool things that other people get to do. Like, other people get to like fly and like walk through walls, and sometimes I wonder, are you just astral projecting? Maybe you're actually walking through walls. But it's this sense that it's trying to make that connection again. Maybe there's a part of you that's, there's that word desperately. That word just kind of wants to come out, and I don't want to be misunderstood. In no sense am I calling Scorpio desperate. At the same time, maybe it's a longingness, the longingness of the Scorpio that wants to connect. That's all you've ever wanted. And yet there's just this great chasm between you and the object of your desire. I mean, think about all the things Little Mermaid had to go through. Was Eric really worth it? I don't know. I'm gonna get a clarifier for the star. The Fool in reverse. Yeah, tough one. To take that leap of faith. What if there's a crocodile waiting for us? What if there's danger? What if there are things that I cannot see? Maybe, Scorpio, you do have the ability to connect directly to the divine because you are the divine. Maybe the idea of that, however, is terrifying to you. Because once you connect with the divine, there's kind of no going back. Because all your gifts start to come online, right? You can't make the leap of faith go in reverse. You jump and you jump. You take the risk, you take the risk. It's done. You can't go back in time. So there's a hesitation for you to make that leap of faith. Can I have that leap of faith and know that my human companion will love me, will still love me? Now that Lana Del Rey song is in my head. Will you still love me? Something like when I'm not young and beautiful, or something. It's like when the beauty fades, when the trope of being a mermaid and being unique and all of that fades, will you still love me? That's for somebody. That felt like a compromisey kind of thing. So if there's a person, if this has to do with a relationship, that's very fraught. We shouldn't have to change who we are to please somebody else. Can we compromise on certain things? Yes, because it's a partnership and that compromise should be equal on both sides, right? That kind of resonated for somebody. I felt like there's a Scorpio out there that always put the other person first. In a way, in that scenario, and that's very specific, it's more of a risk to put ourselves first. Our wants and needs and desires. That feels more risky, because what if that person doesn't want to give back? Then I risk losing that partner because I thought about myself. Well, maybe they weren't worth it in the first place, because these are much higher aspirations. And it doesn't have to be the divine. It could just be this like calling, your calling. I'm going to tell you right now, right? I have a day job, a pretty good day job actually. Make a decent amount of money, but tarot is my calling. And so whatever partner I have in the future, they're gonna have to be cool with my calling. And this calling is not really conventional, but they're just gonna have to be cool with it. I can't compromise the calling, and I shouldn't have to. And if they have a calling, I should not get in the way of that, right? There should be a place where if you're with the person you're meant to be with, there's this beautiful coalescence side by side, right? Can we accept each other as we are? So that's for somebody out there. The next card, Home in the Sky. A little drifting, a little dreamy, a little magical. This card came out for Pisces, but it had much different meaning in their reading. For you, I just see this dreamy quality. Like, we are talking about dreams, but you know what I mean by dreamy quality. It's this sense of exceeding expectations or trying, sorry, there's something dripping over here. I hope that that's not irritating for everyone. I'm gonna, just give me one moment. Sorry. I didn't want that to be dripping, and then it was like the only thing that you could hear. But it feels ungrounded. It feels as though it's interesting though, because they're birds. It's not like they're people in these houses, they're birds. So you could fly away and fly back at any time. You have that capacity. And it's almost like I want you to think about this sense that it's almost like if this is spirit, it's like spirit is always here. Spirit is always ever present for you. So you can kind of fly home and fly out, explore, and then come back to your home base. That home base might be spirit. Right? But it's clarified by the 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. 10 of Pentacles, in a very earthbound way, talks about abundance in all of its forms. So not just, it talks about financial, but it also talks about stability. And this kind of, these are the rings of a tree, but it always reminds me of a target. Hitting something in the bullseye. Getting all your ducks in a row. Everything makes sense with the 10 of Pentacles. Family life is stable. There is instability. and you could be turning to spirit for answers. But even in that exploration with spirit, there is instability, because we're in a human body having a human experience. It's really difficult to then remember that we're spirit in a human body having a human experience. It can be very, if you're not careful, right? And I've said this before, there's like a real fine line for me personally, and I'm just talking about for how I define things. There can be a very fine line between spirituality and psychosis. Because if you become too ungrounded, you can lose yourself. You can just, it's like disassociation from the reality of the human experience that you're meant to live. And you got to be really, really careful, right? This is how people end up in cults. You know, it's you know, I've said very publicly on this channel that I'm a twin flame. The legions of people, even tarot readers or whatever, that just want to debunk twin flame connections, that think that it's toxic. It certainly can be. And I myself have had to ask, like, I've had to say, is this real? Am I making this up? Do I actually have this connection with this person? Is it a possibility, right? So take that example and just apply it to a lot of different things in your life, where things are being called into question the closer and closer and closer you get to this. Because this could not be further removed in an earthbound sense, because it's just so out in space. So there's this kind of happy medium that you have to have between making sure that you're firmly grounded with Mother Earth, with your community, with people around you, your family, people that know you, and then this wide universe of exploration that can start with your dreams and just go as far as you want it to go. Very, very delicate balance. Let me pull a clarifier for those cards. Nine of Pentacles in reverse, the Hermit, and the King of Cups. Well, you showed up in your own reading. That's Scorpio card. King of Cups is somebody who very, very secure in their emotions, understands what they feel, can articulate. They're a very emotionally available person. Nine of Pentacles in reverse. This is a card of independence. Thank you, Spirit. But you did get this card in reverse. You got 9 and 10 of Pentacles in reverse. So you could be, you know, you could be exploring the oneness, but then the real world beckons you with your responsibilities and your bills and your tasks and your laundry and just having to go to work every day, right? And it could be throwing you off a little bit. And so there's this inner contemplation with the Hermit card. Hermit is number 9 in the major arcana, Virgo energy, and it talks about coming to grips with all of our traumas and our misconceptions and our regrets and past pain, physical ailment as well. People always forget about that, but it's like the body keeps the score, right? Like when you have emotional pain, it shows up in your physical body. It's your vessel, it's your temple. It, you know, it's like Gabor Mate. I keep seeing Gabor Mate, this guy, Gabor Mate. He's always talking about so when you suppress emotions, and the majority of women do this, to keep the peace, to maintain stability for their household or their spouses or whatever. All of that comes out as autoimmune diseases. So I remember, this is very personal, I mean, whatever, it's my channel, but like, when I had a very bad breakup, not with my twin, but with somebody else, I developed like psoriasis on this part of my leg. That was maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And that patch of psoriasis, it's a small patch, but it's on my leg. It's still there. And it developed directly because of that instance. It was not there before. And I attribute it directly to that very traumatic experience. And it showed up on my body. And it's like, that's how powerful your mind is. It can make you well and it can make you ill. So, there's a sense here that we're trying to maintain our composure, maintain who we are in the Scorpio energy. And we do that by really reflecting on what matters most to us at this time in our lives when we may be experiencing some strife. And if it's not financial, it could be emotional. The Pentacles, especially when we get to the 9 and the 10 of Pentacles, it encompasses everything. Not just material world, but also emotional, also mental. So we end here with this beautiful energy of like a bird and the Empress. I could not ask for more beautiful cards for you, Scorpio, because you're going to be able to explore this great depth, traverse spaces and places that you've never imagined you could reach. And you do that, right, by believing in yourself. The Empress, the power of all 4 queens. I said it at the beginning of this reading. Look at how abundant she is. She's also fertile. There's a baby there. Fertile with ideas, perhaps, creativity. And this energy here with the bird, it's kind of like being able, again, to take flight whenever we feel that we need to. And we'll always have a home to come back to within ourselves. You are your best grounded place. So you have to make sure you're grounded. And how do we do that, right? We connect with nature. We connect with other people. We embrace love. We love others. That's how we connect to ourselves. I'm going to read from the book now, number 30. The One. Non-duality, one love, unus mundus. Our ability to experience this archetype firsthand is limited. It comes in brief and potent moments that we are left to savor for a lifetime. The One is both the energy that unites all living beings and our capacity to sense the intimate union. This archetype eludes us most of our lives, appearing as a concept in a distant galaxy. Yet when we are in the midst of its power, a solemn reverence falls across the land. We glimpse ourselves in the vastness of all consciousness and are neither small nor large within that field. We are neither important nor unimportant. All duality fades away, and we are left with what is, the precious knowing that life is a gift, and we are both the giver and the receiver of this fortune. So that's your reading, Scorpio. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, Scorpio.